Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to do a garden update. This is my upper garden. I've got a lot of cool stuff happening over here. If you happen to hear some kids yelling in the background, that's because I've got noisy neighbors, but who doesn't? So let's start over here. This is my Husky Cherry Red. I love this plant. I love it because it stays relatively bushy, but it still grows indefinitely, and it puts on these clusters of lovely cherry tomatoes, and you can see I'm having a lot of ripening happening over here, and these are just absolutely delicious. They're nice and sweet. They have a classic tomato flavor to them. They don't split, and they get pretty big, actually. I had a couple of these that looked like mini full-size tomatoes, so that was really awesome. Over here I've got my clones, my Husky Cherry Red clones that I put in probably about a month and a half ago. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough time in the growing season to actually produce fruit, but if you look closely, you'll see that I've got one little fruit cluster right here with mini tomatoes inside, so this one will probably produce fruit, and it's always a good idea. I did a whole video on cloning tomatoes to take some of your best tomato plants, pop a sucker into the ground, water it religiously for about a week, and before you know it, you've got a clone tomato plant that hopefully has enough time to produce fruit for you. So that is my Husky Cherry Red. Over here, I've got my Heirloom Cherokee Purple, and look at the size of this tomato. Wow, it is absolutely huge. It's probably a pound by now. It'll probably get a pound and a half when all is said and done. Just really no ripening taking place yet, but I can't wait when it starts to ripen because it is a beauty. I've got some other Cherokee Purple tomatoes over there. These are going to be some of the best tomatoes, I think. I actually had one at a farmer's market recently, and I was just blown away by the flavor. Super delicious. Here I've got my Better Boy clones, which are looking kind of leggy. I don't think they're going to work out, but it was an interesting experiment nonetheless. Let's back out a little bit and show you my Keuka Melons. You know, guys, I'm really happy with the Keuka Melons. They are super fun, and they're super happy no matter what. And I'm going to do a separate video on 5 reasons why you should grow Keuka Melons, because this is such a cool plant. I come out here every day with my daughter, and we pick all the Keuka Melons off. We get about a handful per day. Within here, I've probably got about, I would say, 20 different plants. And they just climb this trellis. They've completely encased it with leaves. I love this plant so much. Over here, something new. I planted my sugar snap peas, and they're starting to grow, and I put this little trellis, very inexpensive trellis system together so that they can climb this. And actually, these trellises are made out of tomato cages, so if you look behind at my Cherokee Purple, that's how tall I'm going to be able to make this trellis, and I got this cheap netting from Amazon for like $7. So I'm going to have a lot of peas. These should be ready by the time the cooler weather kicks in, September, October, so I'm going to have a really cool fall harvest there, because this is the time of year you should be thinking about your fall harvest. This is my banana hot pepper plant. I've got one hot pepper from it, and that's it. And I'm a little disappointed, but it's been really, really hot here, and I think that's the reason, because peppers don't like hot weather, and they drop their flowers. But it's cooler now, and I've got some flowers coming on, you can see. All around, some flowers coming on. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to get some hot banana peppers, because the first one I had, I loved it. I sliced it up, put it on pizza. It was amazing. Check out this thing. This is my hot sweet pepper. And I know that doesn't make sense, but it's kind of a hybrid between a cayenne, sort of, and a sweet pepper, which should produce these smoky sweet pods. And as you can see, we've got some nice ones. These are going to turn red. And I've got some new growth here. Over here is my Bush Bell hybrid. Kind of a small plant, not doing that much. I'm not really happy about that, but as you can see, there are a couple. In a minute, I'm going to show you my white cherry tomato plant. I love that thing. Over here, this is something called Sweet Yummy, which, again, I'm not very excited about this. Overall, I'm not excited about my peppers, and I think there's a few reasons contributing to that. Number one is that we had a cool spring here, so we didn't have enough time to really ramp up the foliage production. Number two, I topped these plants, which set them back an additional amount of time. Basically, although it's almost August here, these plants look like, you know, it's a month before. Like, these look like July 1st plants, not August 1st plants. But that's okay. We still have enough time in the growing season. These can really pull through. Anyway, check this out. This is my Snow White cherry tomato plant, and you can see that I finally have some ripening. This is what the white tomatoes look like. And as you can tell, they're not actually white. They're kind of a cream color, a little bit yellow. These are really, really good. I've already picked a few. There were some ripe from this cluster. But actually, I will say that this is not my favorite tomato. My favorite tomato so far this year is the Sun Gold cherry tomato. It's very popular. You've probably heard of it if you do any gardening. You've probably grown it if you do any gardening. And next year, I'm going to probably replace, grow pretty much exclusively Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, plus an heirloom or two, to get sort of the larger beefsteak ones. But this is mediocre. It's super sweet. It just tastes like a really sweet tomato, whereas the Sun Gold cherry tomatoes taste like something else entirely. It tastes like a sweet cherry tomato with some additional, I would say almost citrus flavor to it. It's just fantastic. And I like the Sun Gold so much that I put a clone in actually yesterday. Here's a clone. Again, it's August 1st. I doubt it'll ever fruit, but hey, why not try? I actually made some clones of my Snow White before I had one, thinking, hey, I'm going to want more of these. But you know, I think this one will produce quite enough. It is very, very, very tall. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys.